You're listening to Blast Podcasting, episode 12.
Hail to the King. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Blast Podcasting. This is Anthony.
And this is Xander.
Oh, well, my mind is like spinning over some of the stuff at E3. I know some may not consider it the best E3, but there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, for those that are listening, at the time of recording, E3 is this week. Nintendo's E3 just wrapped up yesterday, and I think just social media in a nutshell, like pretty much flipped their shit over Nintendo's E3. It was a really good presentation, a lot of great games, and for those who have a Nintendo Switch, I think they're going to be very, very busy coming mid this year. 2020. It's insane. I think 2020 is leading up to be a crazy year in gaming.
Another 2017.
Yeah, I mean, because we have like so many great games coming out in 2020, and including Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, and I think the big talk was also like Final Fantasy VII. I think overtook on an individual game. Every fucking video game overtook it. Even overtook Cyberpunk, which I'm pumped for.
Yeah, I gotta look into more Cyberpunk. I have to admit, I haven't really been diving too much into it, so my hype for Cyberpunk's kind of low, just because I don't know too much about it.
Let me ask you a question, and real quick, and I'm going to say something a little bit controversial here. A couple years ago, me and this former cuntbag that I was friends with, we recommended The Witcher 3. That's the controversial part. What did you think of The Witcher 3?
I never played it.
Oh, there you go.
I bought it, and it was shrink wrapped, and I ended up selling it on eBay.
Oh, well, hey, it's coming out on Switch.
Yeah, and the reason why I didn't play it wasn't because I didn't want to play it. It's not because I didn't like it. It was just the more I heard about it, the more how immersive it was and how much of a game it was. I have to admit, I was kind of I was kind of scared to play it. I was kind of intimidated. That's what I was looking for. I was kind of intimidated because I was just like, I don't have time for this kind of game. But now it's coming out for the Switch. I might actually check it out because, you know, a lot of times I try to explain this to a lot of people because a lot of people just think that, oh, he's a Nintendo Switch fanboy. That's what it is. But what they don't understand is my schedule and the way that I work. Nintendo Switch works out great for me because when I'm at my other job and it's slow, I can play a lot of video games. And if I have a game on the Switch, I bring my Switch to work and I can play the hell out of it instead of being like, oh, I'm working 12 hours a day. I wish I was at home because it's slow and I could play my PS4. You know, like I don't have that issue. So that's why a lot of RPGs, I wait for them to come out on the Switch, including The Witcher. Dragon Quest XI is another great example. I still haven't played Dragon Quest XI because I knew it was eventually going to come out for the Switch. And
I own it. Sadly, I'm going to play it.
I'm so glad that it's coming out for the Switch. It's going to have added content, and I'm like, finally, I get to sit down and play it, you know, and I get to play it at my own leisure with it being on the go.
Well, the thing with The Witcher 3, and this is something that's carried on for me for years. I bought it about a couple months after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I play it. It's not that I don't like it. It's kind of the same problem you have, though. It is the same problem, actually. I'll play it for like a week straight and then not touch it for months. Then go back and not touch it. And it's not because it's bad. It's because it's so big and intimidating.
Yeah.
Still to this day. And it's funny because I still haven't beaten it.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing. Like, I don't really like to buy games without the. When I buy a game, I like to have in my head, okay, I'm going to play this and I'm going to beat it. That doesn't necessarily always happen. You know, I think that's why all of us have, you know, games that we have that we need to finish. But I don't like going into a game knowing that, hey, I'm going into this and I'm probably not going to be able to play anything else. It intimidates me. When I was younger, it didn't bother me. But now that I'm older and I have a very, very select free time, I have to be very conscientious on what I have to pick and play.
Right. And I think that's the beauty of the Switch, because the Switch has taken the console to the handheld. Remember, this has been attempted. I remember Sony attempted this with both the PSP and the Vita. They wanted the Vita and the PSP. They did say this to be consoles on the handheld. It just didn't work that way though.
It's such a shame because the PSP was a great fucking handheld.
Oh, so is the Vita. The Vita is so underrated.
Yeah.
I think the PSP and Vita are fucking great. But that's just me, you know. It's
Yeah.
I did you like the Vita?
I never owned a Vita, so I don't have any input on it. I will say this: everyone that I know who has a Vita loves it.
Yeah.
Like, I have not met one person who had a Vita was like, oh yeah, it's cool. It's almost like the Vita to me is in the same category as the Wii U, the TurboGrafx 16, those consoles that the people who own it that had that little nicheness absolutely love it, and the outsiders completely dismiss it.
Yeah, it's a great handheld. But I think with the Switch though, ultimately the console's handheld hybrid finally got mastered. Because if you really look at the Vita, they tried to do that.
Yeah, they had their whole remote play.
Yeah, but with the Switch, they nailed it. And yeah, I think Nintendo's. I mean, let me say this, and I say this all the time, but I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna just say this for video games. I'm gonna say this in media, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a pretty fucking cool golden age.
Oh, we are.
Despite the fucking political correctness that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
there's still a lot of good shit going on. And yeah, there's a political correctness, but I think you mostly see that on Twitter.
Yeah.
People, it's mostly like someone will say something and then someone will get offended. That's what I see. In media, I don't see it that much.
Yeah, I see when it comes to like PC culture and it comes to stuff like that, I see it more from, like you said, someone that gets offended and someone makes a comment, then people, rally up and go against or for it. But if you just kind of shut off social media and you just enjoy, movies, video games, comics for what it is and form your own opinion, you'll realize how much better you feel.
Oh yeah, that's what I've done. I mean, my Facebook's back open, but how much I think I posted on one of yours.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, it's like okay, like the new Terminator trailer.
Yeah,
the new Terminator trailer came out. I watched it and I was like, man, this is really fucking cool. I was like, I kind of like this. This is kind of nice, and it's the return of James Cameron. I'm like, man, this is like events right after T2. Everything else is thrown out the window. This is awesome. I watched it. I loved it. I made the mistake of going through the comments, and the first thing I start hearing about is like feminism and PC culture and social justice. And I was just like, oh my fucking God. I had to just like stop from the comments because it was taking the enthusiasm and the love that I had for the trailer out because of the toxicity of fucking people.
Exactly. Well, you know what? Let's be honest. There are some things I should stand corrected. There are some media where that PC stuff is getting injected into.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, like, for example, my biggest pet peeve. I'm a huge X-Men fan, right? Mm-hmm. But my biggest pet peeve is them suddenly making Iceman gay.
Yeah.
This is a character that's been a playboy, a player with women for decades, and then in 2015. They did that weird thing with the original X-Men coming back into the present, and they made that one gay. I guess I'm okay with that, but they made the mainstream one gay too.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you destroying decades of continuity just to do that?
Yeah, at that point, why don't you just... This is the way I think about when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm like, why don't you make a new hero? Why don't you make something new to bring in the new kind of society that's around? Like, why don't you do something like that? Because I feel like, to me, it feels almost like when they suddenly turn a character who has such history, they turn it completely around. I feel like they're doing that because, for one, it's kind of safe because it's already a well-known character. And also, if it doesn't work out, they're like, okay, well, we can just switch that back around and that never happened. And, we don't have to worry about this new character, about what we had to do and all the money and artistry that we went to invest in that. We don't have to worry about that because that was Iceman, Like, I hate that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's bad writing. It's really bad writing. And that's why... comic book wise, I'm not talking movie wise, okay? This is why comic book wise, DC is kicking Marvel's ass comic book wise.
Yeah, make sure you emphasize that because you'll have someone be like, "Oh, well, DC movies."
Yeah, I know, and I like DC movies.
Yeah,
for the most part. Still, you know what's funny? I just thought of our review of back in January of Aquaman.
Yeah.
And I recently rewatched it, and I still feel the same way.
Huh. I haven't rewatched Aquaman.
You put on missing much.
Yeah.
Shazam though is fucking awesome.
I still want to see Shazam. I'm actually probably going to watch that very soon with my girlfriend because we watched because this segues into our main topic actually. But but before I go into our main topic, I do want to say that from the time of recording this, it's the week of E3, and to give a quick plug to mine and Anthony's other podcast because we both have separate podcasts. This is kind of like our podcast together, but we have our own side projects. Excess Game Podcast is what I do with James Gruesome, and then you have Absolute Counter with you and
Starscream.
Yeah, and
Darkscream, not Starscream.
I was not calling Starscream. He's a transformer. He's a transformer. But I know myself, me and James are going to go off and actually talk a little more in depth on E3, and I'm pretty sure you are as well with Absolute Counter. So be sure to keep your eye out on that, guys, the listeners and everyone. But getting to the main topic.
Real quick, I got to say one thing.
Yes.
Let me close this out real quick. You're in a golden age when you have a Castlevania TV series, you have Neon Genesis Evangelion, hint, hint, possible next episode, coming out in a week. With a new dub, which I'll talk about in some future format, maybe with you, and and the real kicker, a new fucking Dark Crystal, and a new wrestling promotion.
And don't forget a Dark Crystal tactical RPG coming out.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And you know what's funny too? Real quick, I have to say this. Did you ever watch Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs back in the day?
Yeah.
He's back doing the same shit on Shudder.
That's so cool. I think you mentioned that in the last episode.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean, and I'm not even cutting the tip of the fucking iceberg, dude. It's
and for God's sakes, people, we have a movie of Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out right now.
Oh fuck! I wonder if that's on DC Universe.
It might be.
And Swamp Thing TV series, which I heard is good, but got canceled right away.
Which was filmed in my fucking backyard.
What?
Yeah, my apartment complex is right by the swamp that they filmed Swamp Thing. And I remember I got home from work and we heard a big ass explosion. Like it was big, and we're just like, it shook the place. We're like, what the fuck was that? And then later on we found out they're like, oh, sorry guys, we're filming the Swamp Thing television series. I mean, I could go outside and smoke a cigarette and see the film lights outside.
That's cool.
But yes. The main topic of this show is something that
I ruined your segue. I'm sorry.
That's all good. But no, like the topic of this show is something that you and I know you've said it, and I think you can agree on the show that it's been one of our most anticipated movies this year.
Yeah, we talked about. You know what? We talked about it going back to that same Aquaman show.
We did.
Remember, like the last 20 minutes, we talked about the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, we're both really big Godzilla fans. I mean, obviously, we have Godzilla as our intro and outro, and yeah, we're going to be talking about Godzilla, King of Monsters. The movie's been out for a while, so we are going to be including spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, come back and listen to the rest of this show.
Or if you don't give a shit. You know what? When they say spoilers, they always consider people who want to watch it. We got to be considerate. There are people who just don't care.
Yeah. I'm actually one of those kind of people. I really don't care if I get spoiled for the most part.
Real quick, I read the spoilers to that new Tarantino film, the Once Upon a Time in L.A.
Yeah.
People, I guess people loved it, except for the ending was pretty polarizing. Mm-hmm. The ending is polarizing because it's fucking stupid. I'll tell you off air if you give a shit, because I'm not going to spoil that for a movie we have. But I will tell you off air about that ending because it is the most fucking stupid thing I've ever heard.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Because I was about to say, yeah, Godzilla, King of Monsters. I was gonna write down some questions that I was gonna pass back and forth, and we could talk about it. But I kind of had the questions already in my head. So I want to ask you first, Anthony. First and foremost, overall, what did you think about it?
I liked it, and I know it got like what 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
I know. And you know what? If you go by Rotten Tomatoes, I'm going to get in trouble for this, Xander. And I don't mean to. You can disassociate yourself.
I agree with you. What you're about to say right now.
You're a fucking idiot if you go by. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot if you just follow Rotten Tomatoes.
Because Rotten Tomatoes to me, and maybe this is my tinfoil hat, but I feel like it's so paid off because like every fucking Disney movie that comes out on Rotten Tomatoes is like a fucking 100%. And like everything else is like, okay, well, this is 30, this is 20. I mean, Godzilla did not deserve 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I thought it was 40.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but still, that's still. Well, I still feel the same. Like Batman v Superman was 29%, and I feel that movie's 90% in my eyes. I know I'm in the minority, but I don't give a fuck. But that's the thing. Rotten. Look, I'm sick of Disney. I know I praised media, but I am so fucking sick of Disney. And now they own fucking Fox, which sucks ass.
Well, let's before we go into like an anti-Disney rant. I mean, let's stay on Godzilla.
Let's talk about let's stay on Godzilla.
Because this was I really enjoyed this movie. First off, I did enjoy Godzilla 2014. I know there were some people who didn't care for it, but I felt like honestly everything that could be wrong with Godzilla 2014, I feel like it was fixed in King of Monsters. And one of the biggest things that I have to say about that is a lot of people said that Godzilla 2014 did not have enough Godzilla in it. Did not have enough monster fights. I feel like King of Monsters had a lot more fights going on.
All right, here's the thing with Godzilla 2014. I think it's a great movie. I felt it was fine. Here's the thing that people don't understand about all Godzilla movies. I'm even talking about Japanese ones, right?
Oh yeah.
With a few exceptions, like Final Wars. What the fuck was that about? But anyway,
God, it was like Matrix Godzilla edition. It was crazy.
That movie's dumb but awesome the same way. But no, every Godzilla movie, even the old ones, a lot of time are focused on the humans in every single one.
Yeah.
Every single movie, there's so much time spent on the humans.
Mm-hmm.
And this was no exception. The King of Monsters and the original. And we forgot Skull Island.
Yeah.
Which I dug too. And Skull Island was a little bit of an anomaly because it didn't really focus a whole lot on the humans.
Yeah.
But the good news though is we're getting another Godzilla movie in a year.
Yeah, Godzilla versus King Kong.
Wait, it's in March, so fuck, less than a year.
And you know the thing about it is like I feel like a lot of people that are Godzilla fans who say they're Godzilla fans, they like the idea of Godzilla, but they probably haven't sat down and watched a Godzilla movie since they were a little kid. So they don't remember a lot of shit that happened in those movies, and that's including the human interaction.
Every single one has a slow build up. I don't care. I haven't seen Shin Godzilla, which I need to see.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I need to see Shin.
The thing about Shin Godzilla is a lot of people complained about Godzilla 2014, be like, "Oh, it's not enough Godzilla; it's too much human interaction." Go and watch Shin Godzilla, and then come back to me about 2014 because Shin Godzilla, half the movie is them in a fucking office talking about politics.
Really?
Godzilla was great in the movie. The take, and it was the same guy who did Evangelion. Same guy.
Yeah, they'll tie in next week.
Yeah, he did it, and I love his portrayal of Godzilla. I love the way he portrayed everything. I love the new things that he added with the atomic breath and everything. I mean, a matter of fact, his atomic breath scene, the first scene, I felt like it was so symbolic, and it was actually really sad. I remember I actually teared up watching it because the way it happened. But the movie itself was not good. It really wasn't.
Okay.
Compared to Godzilla 2014.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing. People, Yeah, I've heard that complaint so many times that people like the idea of Godzilla, but like you said, that movie and every other movie, and I don't care what it is, they all have slow build-ups. Final
Yeah.
Wars is the exception, but still, it's that's just how they are, and the American ones are honoring it.
I will say there is another Godzilla movie that doesn't have slow build up, and it's funny because ironically it's one of the most hated Godzilla movies, and I know this because I watched it recently right after we watched King of Monsters. My girlfriend was like, "Let's watch this. I haven't seen this in a long time." I remember enjoying it, and she didn't enjoy it as much the second time watching it, and that was Godzilla '98.
Oh, well, we weren't going to ever mention that. But I almost mentioned it, but we will never mention it. I saw it when it came out, and
Oh yeah.
I remember like, what the fuck is this?
It's one of the most forgotten Jurassic Park movies we've ever seen.
It's not a Godzilla movie. There's a
Yeah.
whole sequence when little raptor things bust out of
Yeah.
things. I mean, what the fuck? But in Final Wars, that Godzilla gets its ass kicked. Remember?
Yeah, that was so funny. I think
Yeah,
I think they purposely made the CGI bad too. There's like fuck this like Godzilla nugget.
Yeah, it's not really. But let's talk about King of the Monsters real quick.
Yes.
Though. Okay, that movie was fucking dope, and I don't care what anyone says. The human parts were interesting, and a lot of that cast is coming back for King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk. There's one thing I want to talk about real quick. Those new original giant monsters,
Yeah.
like the mammoth one. I really like that mammoth looking.
I did too.
What else?
When you first saw the mammoth though, the way it was walking behind before you saw the tusk, were you like me at first? I was just kind of like, is that King Kong?
Yeah, yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
King Kong though.
Yeah.
But yeah, they made some original ones, which is cool. I wonder if they've got the rights to any more Toho monsters though.
I'm wondering the same thing. And another thing I like that they did with it is let's talk about freaking Ghidorah. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I like that Ghidorah, like the three heads had their own personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And you had that one on the left that was kind of derpy. Like he was constantly kind of doing shit that was pissing off the middle one. Like when they first emerged from the ice, the third one's licking the ground like trying to eat ice, and the other one's like, "What the fuck are you doing? We just got out of this ice." And,
Yeah, they gave them personalities.
yeah, I really like that, and that they were like biting each other at some parts. So like they were getting pissed off and fighting, and I really, really like that. I like how much of a force that Ghidorah was. And the fact that they even tapped in the fact that Ghidorah was from another planet. They added the space element in a very good, subtle way.
Monster X, they called him Monster X.
Yeah.
Remember Godzilla vs. Monster X? Which, yeah, I that was one of my first Godzilla movies I saw, where the astronauts go into Planet X or whatever, and yeah, they called him Monster X. That was a nice reference.
I love how they did that, and I mean when it was like, hey, we're about to get hit by a Category 6 like tropical storm hurricane. Like, no, that's Ghidorah coming to the States. That was so fucking cool. And I was about to say my girlfriend was actually scared of Ghidorah. Like she actually was like because the parts where he comes right at the screen and stuff, she was actually turning away. She's like, oh god, this is fucking crazy.
Dude, I was just like, Ghidorah's my favorite, or Ghidorah, however you say it, but he's fucking, he's my favorite of the Godzilla monsters, and the way they did him, the way he looked exactly like Ghidorah, just in good CG, not in a suit or a puppet or whatever.
Yeah,
and it was great seeing him that way. I mean, the monsters that they chose from the Toho, those are the three essential monsters other than Godzilla. Rodan and Mothra and fucking Ghidorah.
Yeah.
I mean, and like some people are like, why isn't Gigan in there? No, you needed those three before you add Gigan or fucking anyone else. Monster X.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, no, wait, Monster X. I was thinking of Destroya. My bad.
Yeah, they and going into some of the other Toho monsters, like of course, this is my only one of my only complaints about the movie, because I absolutely love this kaiju. This Mothra. I think they did great with fucking Mothra. I wish we saw more of Mothra.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the nice little reference with the twins?
Yes.
That was cool.
I thought that was awesome. And I like the fact that they kept the whole like Godzilla Mothra partnership in there as well. And it was funny because that scene where the guy was like asking if Godzilla and Mothra were a thing, like a minute before the guy said that, like my girlfriend was asking me that. She like turned, she's like, "So is like Mothra and Godzilla?" And like the guy says it right afterwards, and I was just laughing. I was like, "Oh my god!" But yeah, I mean, it's like they kept that partnership in there of them being kind of like the guardians of Earth. Mothra is like the queen of monsters, and Godzilla's the king of monsters. I thought that was really cool.
Do you think we'll see any of the mecha monsters though? Because of that end credit scene. I don't want to skip ahead, but
We might. I think it's all banking on Godzilla versus King Kong.
Because what I read is the actor who played the bad guy, Charles Dance, who's a great actor in Game of Thrones and all kinds of shit, right?
Yeah.
And all kinds of movies. He was the bad guy in fucking what's that one movie? Last Action Hero.
Mm-hmm.
He at the end credit scene, one of the Ghidorah heads, whatever, they find it and he buys it from him.
Yeah.
So are we going to see Mecha Ghidorah?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But he did say he and the Ghidorah head are not in Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yeah, they're probably going to save that for a possible another movie, because thing about it is Legendary really wanted to build a monster universe, and while they still have faith in the monster universe, they're not sure if they're going to continue after Godzilla versus King Kong. I think that's what they're really banking on, because believe it or not, Godzilla versus King Kong, the original, is still one of the most highest selling Toho movies. Like, it's still like up there. So
that movie's not. That's one of the worst Godzilla movies.
It really is.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But you know what, Xander? You know who they should buy from Toho?
What's that?
Jet fucking Jaguar.
They gonna implement him with Pacific Rim, because they always talked about how they wanted to mix Pacific Rim with Godzilla. There you go.
Yeah, make a Jet Jaguar.
But going into another monster, Rodan. Mm-hmm. I thought they did really good with Rodan. He was kind of a side character in the sense that kind of the same as Mothra. He was kind of like, I felt like he was just there. Because he was like trying to beat Ghidorah's ass, and then he was trying to beat up Godzilla. He was just pissed off he woke up from his volcano.
Yeah, but then he became Ghidorah's bitch, and then he became Godzilla's bitch.
Yeah, at the end he like fucking bows. He's like, "Oh, okay." But I really thought Mothra fucking killed him with that barb. I was like, "Oh shit!" She pulled it out like a freaking switchblade.
And then she died, but then she's alive.
Yeah.
And it was funny how she restored Godzilla.
Oh, that freaking callback to Godzilla versus Destroya.
Yeah, the nuclear fallout.
I saw that, and I actually kind of panicked a little bit because I knew about the ending to Godzilla versus Destroya, and I'm like, oh my god. And my girlfriend's like, what is it? I'm like, this isn't good. It's not good when he's glowing like that.
It's not. But I thought there's a lot of, see, that's the thing about this movie. There's a lot of subtle references.
Yes.
The Monster X drop, the twins, the nuclear fallout,
Yeah, it's in the fucking theme song. Oh my god.
They killed it with that. I showed it to you, remember?
Yeah. And I love that they include the original music, because they even played Mothra's theme when they first showed her.
Oh.
When she was spreading her wings and they're playing the Mothra theme, I was like, I got goosebumps. I was like, oh my god, my hair's like standing up on my arms right now.
They really did an homage to classic Godzilla in this movie. I don't get why the movie got so reviewed poorly. I just don't get it. I don't. It's not. I've seen movies that are 70% that are worse than this.
I really think it's not the hardcore Godzilla fan base, because everyone that I know that's an actual Godzilla fan who actually like sat down and they watched the movies past the age of 8 years old, fucking loved that movie.
Yeah.
But it's like the people that I talked to that were like, oh, I love Godzilla. I grew up watching the movies and I just love when Godzilla destroys everything. Like, those are the people who are like, this is just too much. It's too much human interaction. I just didn't like it. And I think that's the problem. That doesn't translate well with that kind of shit. And that's probably why the kaiju movies have always been a niche thing in the West.
Because they're slow movies. Well, I'm not going to deny it. They are slow movies. But, some do it better than others,
Yeah, they really do. That's like after we watched King of Monsters. My girlfriend and I, we finished watching that. She told me, she's like, I want to watch more Godzilla movies. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to get a list for you. I was like, because there's some that are really good and some that are okay, and then some that are just really really bad. Like Godzilla's Revenge, like that wasn't a good movie. Stuff like that.
I like the 85 to 98 series.
Yes.
Like my favorite Godzilla movie is Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, which he has a weird. You remember his origin in that one, right?
Yeah, wasn't it with the birds?
No,
was that the one?
No, it was time travelers, and they went back into the time that Godzilla got nuked, and they had these 3 little cutesy little fucking little creatures, and they let them loose, and then when the nuke happens, they mutate into Ghidorah. Yeah, but I like that one. But yeah, that's a good one, and that's the one that introduced Mecha Ghidorah.
Yeah.
So,
go
ahead.
ahead. I was about to say because I was going to get into maybe things that we didn't really care for about King of Monsters, because I mean there's a lot that we were really gushing about it. But is there anything that you particularly did not like about the movie?
I felt the pacing was, not to sound hypocritical, there's a few times the pacing felt a little off, but that's it.
That I was about to say that was one of my issues. I felt like the wife or the mother in the movie, I felt like her build up, her development was a little rushed, because it went from like the daughter was like, oh, there's something wrong with mom, to all of a sudden she's just like working with a pseudo-terrorist group about to explode Ghidorah from his ice sleep. It's like, whoa, what's going on? I understand they had a limited time they had to work with, and they didn't want to draw. And I think they were kind of conscientious that they were like, okay, well, we want to make sure we put a point out to this movie of the character interaction, but God forbid, let's actually give them any more depth, or people are going to get pissed.
Yeah.
It was a very, very catch-22. Is either you get a really shallow story with human interaction, or you get human interaction with depth that's going to cut into the monsters fighting, which ultimately that's what the general audience goes for a Godzilla movie. So I kind of understand their frustration with that. So I let it slide a little. Bit. The other thing I didn't really like too much is I felt like the movie ended really, really abruptly.
It kind of did, yeah.
Like, it was just kind of like, whoa.
And then they had that strange epilogue in the credits.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't... Here's the thing. With the way credits are done, the stylistic way, which is kind of annoying now.
Yeah.
To me. I don't know if you agree with that about credits these days.
Yeah, it's getting to a point where, like, the movie's over, but you have to sit in the seat and you're like, is it really over now?
And they did this epilogue where I didn't know, because I was just like getting ready. I knew about the end credit scene, but I wasn't really paying attention to the credits. But I guess they did a lot of epilogue in the credit sequence, which was weird.
Yeah.
Which they explained, like, some of the other monsters were surrounding Kong Skull Island and just stuff like that. And it's like, why are you showing this in the credits when people leave?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's got to the point now where, like, if you go see a movie, when it's over, you gotta still sit there and be like, is it really over now? I mean, the only time that I remember, a lot of people talk about, Marvel being the whole, after credits scene, but my first time remembering it was actually with Lord of the Rings. And it wasn't after the credits. It was like right after. Well, it was like the credits started rolling, and then it went to scenes of two towers. And I remember how much I was laughing because everyone stood up and everyone was walking out, and the Two Towers preview started playing, and everyone just turns their head and looks at the screen.
Oh shit!
I thought that was so fucking funny, but yeah, like I said, it's getting to a point now where it's just kind of like, is the movie done? Like, can I go ahead and go? Because I've been having to pee for the last 30 minutes, but I've been holding in because I didn't want to leave the movie.
Yeah, I was the same way with my bathroom. End credit scene actually extend back further. Like one of the first ones I saw was it 86 or 87? He-Man Masters of the Universe movie.
Oh yeah.
Do you know about that end credit scene?
I haven't seen that movie in such a long time.
Okay, it's a fun dumb movie, but Skeletor gets knocked down to his death at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So the movies go through the credits, and at the end there's like a liquid, and Skeletor's head pops up. He says, "I'll be back," and that was an early end credit scene.
Yeah,
it's not like, I guess it was the first Marvel-like scene where they were setting up a sequel, except they didn't have elaborate "I hold the stone of eternity" or whatever.
Yeah,
it was just like, "I'll be back next movie." What? So yes, end credits extend back further than you think. But they became a nit thing because of Marvel movies, and I think they've lost their novelty.
Yeah, it's no longer like, ooh, this has an end credit scene. It's kind of lost its magic a little bit because it was something that happened every once in a while. Now it's like every movie. It's like people are going to be staying after a Toy Story 4 comes out, being like, is there going to be a end credit scenes of Toy Story 4? I mean, really. Little Kevin's already sleepy right now. He's being fussy. I want to get the fuck home.
Well, what's funny about why would Toy Story 4 need an end credit scene?
Why is Toy Story 4 even a thing? I mean, they wrapped it up with 3. I mean, that was fine.
And I'm the guy who thinks 3 is the best one.
Oh yeah, it was fucking great.
It's the best one. I know everyone likes 2, but I don't know. I didn't feel 2. I liked the original, but 3 was fucking good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, no, what did you think of the Godzilla end credit scene? I know I mentioned it, but did you like it?
Oh, I did, and it's funny because in all 3, well, I don't want to say all 3 because we've only had 2, but there's been 3 instances anyway that Ghidorah's head has been thrown into these new Godzilla movies. You remember in Godzilla 2014, the Ghidorah Easter egg? Do you remember that? It was a fight with the Mutos and Godzilla, and they're fighting, and all of a sudden, after the fight, you see a papier-mâché dragon head in the streets.
Oh.
They showed that, and then of course, Ghidorah lost his head at the end of the movie, and then, of course, the end credits scene. So it's almost like 3 heads, 3 Easter eggs. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, Skull Island had those cave paintings, remember?
Yeah.
And it had a Ghidorah.
Yeah.
One. So yeah, I think the end credit scene was good. I think the movie was great.
It really was.
I mean, I this summer movie season for me is pretty cool. I know I haven't seen Avengers Endgame. I don't really care to see it.
I still haven't seen it.
Do you care to see it?
I really don't. I'm probably gonna wait until it goes on Netflix and probably just watch it then.
It's not gonna go on Netflix because it's gonna go on that new Disney service.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That I'm not gonna get. Are you gonna get it?
No.
Okay.
Are you gonna get it?
I mean, they're hyping up Star Wars series, but Star Wars is fucking dead to me. So
yeah, I mean, I was just happy that we got a really good Godzilla movie that really showed off Rodan and Ghidorah and Mothra, and it was just the way they did Godzilla. I even felt really sad when the professor, the Watanabe or whatever his name, his character, when he donated and sacrificed himself to Godzilla with the atomic bomb.
Yeah, he destroyed that city though, which that was a nice city. Godzilla City was nice.
It really was.
Yeah, I was like, you're really going to destroy it?
Yeah, I was like, when I saw him glowing, I was just like, oh god, this isn't good. My girlfriend's like, what? And I'm like, you'll understand soon, because we are going to watch that.
Yeah.
That was such a sad scene.
One thing, too, another Easter egg, the oxygen destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I didn't realize that one until afterwards, but that's what they used to kill Godzilla in the OG 1954 film.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought back the oxygen destroyer. So that's a throwback to that movie.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a really good movie. I know we're running a little close on time, so I would say let's do this before we end the show. What would be something that you would like to see in Godzilla versus King Kong? I mean, obviously, other than the fight.
I don't know, more monsters. You can't get them
Do you
in
think
those movies. You can't get enough monsters.
Do you think King Kong's going to get any bigger? Because he's substantially smaller than Godzilla.
You know what though? That gives them the advantage.
That's true. I mean, look at the little Mudos in Godzilla 2014.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder. It's funny because it seems like they're setting up beyond Godzilla versus King Kong, regardless of what they say.
Yeah.
So we'll see how Godzilla King Kong. I hope it performs well because I heard this one didn't perform too well.
Yeah, exactly.
It did better than X-Men though, but because X-Men bombed like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it's a good movie, and I would say that I would like to see. I don't know what to see. I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
I would like to see, you know, I would like to see, with all this time, like what King Kong's been doing, because I mean, like technically he's, in Skull Island he was just Kong. Now he's going to be King Kong. Like, what's he going to do about Skull Island? Like, is he going to get any bigger? Did Godzilla get any bigger after getting that, fucking atomic blast or atomic bomb and everything, and going through the fire like he did in King of Monsters? Is he going to get even bigger? Because Godzilla's actually bigger in the second one as he was in 2014. If you notice, even his fins, his spines were more predominantly sharpened and larger in this one than it was in Godzilla 2014.
That's true.
So I'm wondering if they're going to do something with that. I wonder if are they going to team up? Like, is something going to happen? They're going to end up teaming up against another monster, or what's going to happen? Like, there's so many questions and so many directions they could go with this one. So
They said one thing. They said they're going the Freddy versus Jason route, which means that there is going to be a definitive winner.
that's good.
So that's good. But I don't know if they're going to team up or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be a definitive winner. I don't know who.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because they both have strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. Well, I got nothing else to say. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
We've been building up to this episode since
we
practically
were.
the incarnation of our podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say we were talking about this movie before we even started the podcast.
Yeah.
Because you and I were such big Godzilla fans, and we were such big, Godzilla 2014 fans. I remember, like, with our group page and stuff that we have, like, you and I would always be like, fucking hell, Godzilla. Like, we were always, like, the Godzilla guys. So, I mean,
Yeah.
this has been a great movie, and I'm glad that, the people that I know who are Godzilla fans, and I'm glad they liked it. Everyone, Rotten Tomatoes can suck a dick.
Yeah, they can. They really can. One thing though, I will say that we won't be talking on this podcast, and it's not because it's just not our thing. We probably won't be talking Marvel movies.
Yeah.
We're just not into them.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of shit from some of our friends about that.
The Marvel movies were, unless Marvel does something really, really crazy, I'm kind of done with Marvel movies.
They're the same shit. I'm sorry, they're boring. You know what? Say what you will. At least the DC movies try to be different. Aquaman, despite what Xander and I thought about it, and we don't think it's a bad movie, but it's a very different movie than Shazam. At least they all feel different. Marvel movies, it's just like, let's crack jokes and beat people up.
Yeah.
And they ruin. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into it. But yeah, we're not going to cover Marvel movies.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much more in gaming and just, nerd culture, even though I hate that term. There's so much more that's going on other than fucking Marvel.
And I'm really excited for our next episode, which we mentioned, because it's gonna be a little bit of an experiment.
I'll give an Easter egg. For the people who know what I'm talking about, they'll know what the next episode's going to be.
Okay.
Our next episode is going to be Robin Williams, one of his favorite animes.
Yeah.
That's a good little Easter egg. So.
And I'm not going to say who, but one person is a veteran and one person has never seen it.
Yep, this is going to be a very interesting episode. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But anyway, shall we wrap it up?
Oh, yeah. And guys, as always, thanks for listening. And be sure to check out our other podcasts. Check out XS Gaming Podcast and Absolute Counter. All those are going to be on our corresponding YouTube channels. If you're listening to this on my YouTube channel, check out Anthony's YouTube channel and vice versa. And anyway, guys, always thanks for listening. And we'll be blasting off to the next episode.